Thank you for tuning in. Today we have with us Mr. Sanjeev Singh, the Chief Executive Officer and Managing Director at CMS IT Services. Sanjeev has more than 3 decades of experience in leading global and domestic organizations across IT, ITES, Telecom and Industrial sectors. Until recently, he was a member of CII Karnataka Council and chairman of CII Karnataka CEO Forum. He comes with a proven track record of turning around large businesses into engines of profitable growth. Welcome, sir. It's a pleasure to have you here with us today.
Yeah, thanks, Supriya. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Thank you, sir. The pleasure's ours. So, sir, I was hoping to understand from you, right? With over 3 decades of experience in leading diverse sectors, how have you leveraged your expertise to provide strategic direction to CMS IT services? And what are your key priorities for driving innovation and growth within the organization?
So, Supriya, there's nothing new I'm going to be speaking, right? Every successful organization pretty much does what I'm going to be speaking. So it's been about 20 months for me at CMS IT services. The set of things, it's very standard. One is, it's very important for us to stay very, very close to the customer and understand the concerns and the problems they have and have the passion to solve for it. So the way we look at it in our organization is that if you are an employee at CMS IT services, you could belong only to one of the two set of people. You are either adding value for the customer or you're adding value for someone who is adding value for the customer. There is no place for a third category, right? So staying very close to the customer is very important. Then of course, the whole constant innovation in terms of coming up with capabilities and offerings that solve the customer problem. I've seen oftentimes people making the mistake of going to the customer and saying, this is my capability or this is my offering, what can I do for you? It's always better to start with a problem a customer is facing and solve for it. And what capabilities and offerings we have can solve for that, right? Then of course, the whole creating a very strong team, creating a best-in-class team is very, very important. And it's not just at the leadership level, it's across the board. And obviously you have to do that with a combination of, growing people internally and hiring a few people from outside. Any strategy is only as good as it can be executed. So the whole focus on execution and agility, is extremely important. And then there are hygiene factors like, culture and value system. Any organization that has to remain successful over an extended period of time has to be very strong in terms of culture and values, right? So when you're building a team, you also have to be very careful about how the fitment is from values perspective and from culture perspective. So these are 3-4 things. If you take care of these 3-4 things, I think the rest, will fall in place.
The people are central to the success of an organization, be it the customers or the team. That's a great view. Thank you for sharing that. So I'd like to sort of understand, when it comes to digital transformation, right? Cloud technology is the cornerstone of the modern IT infrastructure. However, cloud can be more complex than it sounds. So what are some of the challenges and opportunities that you see in the cloud services landscape? And, how does CMS IT services integrate cloud solutions to facilitate digital transformation for customers?
Yeah, cloud is already very important. I can't even say it's becoming more important because, a whole lot of migration has already happened. Now, cloud has two parts, right? One is you need to migrate from your data center to cloud. And once you've made that investment, how do you maximize the return on that investment, right? So both are equally important. As far as the migration is concerned, all the large customers, most of our customers, probably about 40 to 50% of the workloads are already migrated. And probably over the next few years, this may go up to 60 to 70%, and probably it will settle at that. It will never happen that everything sits on cloud. Some of the workloads will continue to sit on data centers and stuff like that, right? For regulatory reasons and for other reasons as well. But the real challenge is how do you maximize return on that investment? And that's where I think, the real game is. And that's where I think it's very important for anyone to partner with the right service provider, because that is where you can really make a difference. So really it's all about application modernization. It's all about analytics. It's all about orchestrated DR on the cloud. It's all about FinOps. Are you able to optimize the usage of cloud? It's about cloud security. It's about compliance. So these are the areas where company has to develop capabilities, and they have to partner with the right IT services, service provider, to be able to get the maximum benefit of migration to the cloud. And if you're able to do that successfully, and obviously, companies are still figuring out, some people do a great job, and some companies are still figuring it out. But if you can execute well to the whole cloud strategy, I think the benefits are immense, and the benefits, are not based on, some cost saving, etc. I mean, it's more in terms of it's faster time to market, right? That's very powerful. It's about how you can drive innovation quicker. It is about operational efficiency. It is about scalability. So, when you move to cloud, you get a set of, outcomes which could be very, very helpful for you to create a huge amount of impact for the business. Things like, a time to market and scalability. I mean, it's very difficult to even put a dollar value to that. So that is really how, and we obviously work on both the sides. We work on the migration side, which is the easier part, and then we obviously work on the other parts, which is around the whole modernization and analytics and stuff like that. So that's really how it is.
So while we're on the topic of modernization, right, it's incomplete if we do not talk about AI and ML. So could you elaborate on how the integration of technologies like AI, ML, bots and automated run book solutions contribute, especially in terms of cost efficiency, because these technologies are viewed as expensive to invest in, and what unique value does this bring to clients?
And I think, any technology, whether it is cloud or it is AI, ML, I think we should avoid looking at it only from the cost saving and operational efficiency perspective. I think the impact some of these can have on the top line of the business, or on the customer satisfaction for the business, I think they can create a tremendous amount of value. And obviously, cost is very important, so the operational efficiency has to be there. So net, I mean, the good thing is that, the whole AI, ML, I mean, these are things, these are concepts that have been around for many, many decades, right? But with the way the technology has evolved, it's only now that, it's starting to really deliver, right? Finally, right? I mean, these concepts are probably 50 years old, right? I mean, the AI has been, as a term, has existed for a very, very long time. So it's great that, we're all sort of working and professionals at a time when AI and ML have started delivering, against some real use cases. And there are two aspects. And as I said, I mean, there is a quantitative aspect or the efficiency aspect, and then there is a qualitative aspect. And I always believe that the real return on investment you make into these technologies, AI, ML, and the automated bots and the runbook solutions, these are a lot more around the qualitative aspects, which can be quantified, by the way, right? But it's not just cost. So from the qualitative improvement perspective, if you deploy them in the right manner, you will be able to move your business and processes from being reactive to being proactive to being predictive and finally preventive, right? Reacting to a situation is never the best way to run business or to do anything in life. So it's how you can move to being proactive and predictive, and in certain cases, how can you move to preventive actions, right? That's where the real power is. And in terms of use cases, you can minimize errors, you can enhance speed, you can scale operations faster, you can innovate much faster, you can and even go to market, can be impacted positively, etc., etc. And of course, I mean, every technology has to pay for itself. So while there are many qualitative benefits which can be quantified into a dollar or a rupee value, um, if implemented well, it will reduce the labor involved, and obviously that also means that it will reduce the associated costs. Now there is a cost of technology, right? And as technology becomes more and more cost effective or cheaper, more economical, the viability will improve further. But if implemented well, you can get all the qualitative benefits and still be spending a lower cost, right? So you can optimize your operations well, etc., etc. And the good thing is that the AI ML as a technology is still at its infancy. So as we move forward in the coming years, as the whole compute power, storage, all of that, the cost keeps coming down, the ability of this technology as it matures, the potential to improve the quality of processes and the quality of outcomes will keep improving substantially over the coming years. So it's very powerful. It's AI ML it's as big an innovation as a mobile phone was or internet was. I mean, it's going to be as big as that and probably bigger. So we'll have to just wait and watch how it evolves. But it's clear that the impact of AI and ML is going to be immense on businesses and economies.
However, could you share a few specific examples of how these solutions have provided a competitive edge for your clients for the benefit of maybe other organizations that are looking forward to deploy these technologies?
Sure. So Supriya, so far I've given only, all my responses have been somewhat theoretical, right? I mean, these are all conceptual constructs. Instead of, just giving some, conceptual response to your question, I mean, let me just share maybe a couple of examples of what we have done for our customers in terms of, deploying the emerging technologies, etc., and how it has impacted our customers, right? So let me take the example of a retail client. I mean, I won't take names, but a retail client. When we acquired that engagement, or when we got into that engagement with that client, we realized that there were a lot of inefficiencies across managing the whole IT infra. The IT tickets used to get managed a lot more manually, which obviously results in delayed responses, delayed resolutions, and obviously because it's retail, so the stores, right, where the customer comes to buy stuff, they would get negatively impacted, especially during peak hours, because the systems are not working okay, or issues are not getting resolved. It's a very simple use case. It's very easy for anyone to understand. You don't need to be coming with technology background to understand this. So CMS IT implemented AI-driven ticketing solution, right? And we integrated it with automated bots and certain runbook solutions. What does it do? It is able to read a lot of data around each ticket and prioritize it based on urgency and based on impact it can create positively or negatively if not solved. And all the low-end tickets, right, which are all repetitive tasks like setting the password, some software update, etc., etc., they were just handled by the bots. You did not need a human being to resolve those problems, right? So here, you using the technology, you're able to prioritize, you're able to solve the base level issues using the bot, and a human being is involved only where a bot would not suffice. So what is the outcome? It results in faster resolution, what is called MTTR, which is nothing but mean time to resolve. It obviously improves the user experience, but most importantly for that company, the cost comes down and the sales in the stores would go up, right? Because if your systems are down, you lose sales. So the impact, it's a very simple action. It's a very, it's not some rocket science solution, but the impact for the organization is immense. And when you do some of these things, the customers love you. They want to give more work to you. They want to engage you in more areas and stuff like that. So that's one example. Let me give you an example of another client of ours, which is in the manufacturing area. The issue they faced was in their factories, the equipments would break down. And obviously, when the equipment breaks down, your production comes to a standstill. It's very costly. You're not able to meet, customer commitments and stuff like that. So we implemented an AI ML based predictive maintenance algorithm. So it will read real-time data from the machines, and because it's AI, it's able to learn, by itself over a period of time, and the algorithm could predict the likely time of machine failure and which part will fail. And therefore now, instead of waiting for the machine to fail, you're able to do preventive maintenance, but not just general preventive maintenance, but preventive maintenance related to the components that are likely to fail. So the average, downtime, reduced quite dramatically. The cost saving was immense. The operational efficiency comes in. The production becomes, much more predictable. And most importantly, the customer gets goods produced by you on time in a predictable manner, right? So again, tremendous advantages. Maybe if it's okay, maybe I can take one more example, right? And this time again, I'm taking the example of a retail customer. So they were facing a certain issue around processing and fulfillment of large orders, right? I mean, it's a large store format, right? Big stores. So they had many challenges across supply chain management, right? And therefore, in terms of the orders getting processed and the orders getting fulfilled, it used to take a lot of time. We implemented what is called RPA solution. RPA stands for robotic process automation, right? So anything which is somewhat repetitive, rule-based, etc., it becomes much more easier. Although it's not just limited to now, RPA solutions have become very intelligent as well. So we implemented that solution to automate the supply chain and end-to-end supply chain across order management, inventory tracking, vendor coordination, etc., right? What is the impact? We were able to process the orders faster, leading to faster fulfillment. The whole stock management and inventories, it's easier to manage. And again, the most important thing, the sales at stores go up because you don't face the situation of something going out of stock, because you're able to optimize the entire supply chain using your RPA solution, right? So again, tremendous advantages. So these are some of the examples. I have many more examples, and I can sort of, spend hours talking about various things we have done for our customers. As you would realize, many of these digital solutions, it's not just about reducing cost. In some cases, the cost reduction may not be enough in fact, but it is about how they can impact the overall business positively, how it can improve sales, how it can improve customer satisfaction, how it can give you better predictability across various outcomes.
And thank you for sharing those examples. Like you rightly mentioned, right? Theoretically, it may offer many benefits, but it's always good to know how it practically worked out for a customer, and how they enjoyed the benefits over there. Thank you so much. So, sir, considering everything that we've discussed so far, right? How do you envision the role of advanced technology shaping the future of managed services and system integration in the IT industry? And what are some of the strategic goals for CMS IT services?
I certainly believe that The outcomes are not in your control. What you control is the effort and the actions that you can do. So let me break the response to this question in two parts. What are some of the efforts and actions that we intend taking over next, let's say, 3 years or 5 years? We have to keep adding capabilities and offerings that will solve real problems the customers are facing. And I see that more and more of these capabilities and offerings will use a much higher proportion of emerging technologies like AI, ML, Gen AI, and stuff like that, right? So we will continue to invest in these areas. The other one is the whole investment in talent. And as I said initially, right, this is knowledge industry, right? I mean, our company is only people, right? There's nothing else. I mean, anyone can buy a laptop, anyone can, it's all people and it's all talent. So we have to keep investing in building a team, building expertise, building capabilities, building knowledge, etc., etc. And we would certainly want to maximize building talent internally. But I mean, it goes without saying that you will have to also hire people from outside, especially in areas where you don't have sufficient expertise within. So building talent will continue to be a top priority for us. And the third one is, we have to keep thinking about how to strengthen the quality of engagement with our clients. It's not enough for us to just do good quality work, right? It is about, if you stay closer to the customer, you not only improve the quality of services you are providing, you understand the pain points better, and you can modify and refine your solutions to provide a solution that will solve the problem they are facing, right? And therefore, in a company like ours, we are growing and we will continue to grow at a dramatic pace, each one of the coming years. And we believe that a very vast majority of additional revenues will continue to come from our existing customers. It's much lower cost to get additional revenues and additional deals from existing customers. It's more profitable than you going and and it's quicker, right? I mean, a new deal is always long cycle time, right? If you're going in to a customer who is not an existing customer. So I think from the effort perspective, it's about adding capability, building talent, and strengthening the quality of engagement you have with the clients. Now, what would we want to be known as, and what would we want to be like, over next 3 to 5 years? We certainly would like that our clients treat us as the most reliable technology partner. Within the overall IT services space in India, we are the leaders as far as managed services in infra space is concerned, right? We have very strong capabilities there. So the way I look at it, we will continue to be the leader in the IT managed services space, but our solutions will become a lot more technology driven, right? The people factor will keep coming down, and the technology factor will keep going up. And obviously, I mean, in all of this, our offerings and capabilities will, and the use cases will have a lot more utilization of the emerging technologies like AI, ML, cloud, edge computing, cybersecurity, and stuff like that. And if I have to, just summarize in a very simple way as to what company we would like to become, from the client perspective, we want to be the partner of choice. From employees' perspective, we want to be the employer of choice. And in that process, obviously, it'll be good to generate some good financial returns for our shareholders as well. So that's how I look at the coming years.
Indeed is a great view, and I must say it was a pleasure talking to you, sir. And of course, you provided a great outlook of modern technologies. But the takeaway for me would be your approach to people, be it your employees or the clients. And thank you so much for sharing, this outlook with us. I appreciate it. I'm sure our audience will appreciate it as well.
Thanks, Supriya. Thanks for having me, and I enjoyed the conversation.